Okay, so now let's look at question 3, which is based on the labs that you guys have. Okay, so the lab bringing such a question, especially uh, the lab on blood cells. Okay, right. So they're saying during lab 3 this semester, you viewed white blood cells, okay, and red blood cells under the light microscope. Okay, so for this specific lab, okay, these were the answers. Okay, and they are usually, in general, those are the same answers that you would find. Okay, so they're saying what magnification was used to view the white blood cells. Okay, so the magnification there is usually, okay, most of the time it's just 400x. Okay, because they are using a light microscope. Okay, it's very rare that it goes beyond that magnification. So the magnification is usually 400x. Okay, all right. So and then here they're saying describe the structure of the two granulocytes, okay, that you viewed under the light microscope. Okay, so what granulocyte can you view? Okay, when you look at the white blood cells, it will be the lymphocytes, okay, and the monocyte that will be prominent. Okay, so let's look at the answers here. Okay, so the first question they're saying what magnification was used, right? So what blood cells are typically viewed under a 400x magnification, okay, using a light microscope. Okay, and how do you come up with this 400? It will be a 40x from the objective lens and a 10x from the eyepiece where you're viewing. Okay, so you multiply that, they'll give you 400. Okay, and then 2, we're saying we describe the structures of the two granulocytes that you build under the light microscope. Okay, so granulocytes are a type of white blood cell that lack visible granules. Okay, granules is like something like this. Okay, when you look at the cell, you see a lot of something like this. Okay, like particles. So these white blood cells have two granulocytes, okay? So you will never find the granules in lymphocytes. You will never find the granules in what? Monocytes. Okay, so now let's describe the structure of a lymphocyte and the structure of the what? A monocyte. Okay, so by structure here, they are typically very small, okay? Usually 7 to 10 micrometers, okay? That's the size of a lymphocyte. And then what do they have as a prominent feature? They have a round nucleus that takes up most of the cell. Okay, so if this is my lymphocyte here, okay, I have a nucleus that takes up most of the cell like that. Okay, all this thing here will be the nucleus. And then you have a thin rim of cytoplasm there. Okay, so those are the prominent features of a lymphocyte. Okay, so it will have a round nucleus that takes up most of the cell, okay, leaving a thin rim of cytoplasm. This guy here will be a thin, okay? And then if you you talk about the color, okay, this cytoplasm here is usually light blue, okay, and it has no granules. Okay, so that's about the the lymphocytes. Okay, if they ask you about function, you say it is involved in immune responses such as producing antibodies or directly attacking the what? The affected cells. Okay, let's talk about monocytes now. Okay, so monocytes are a very special type of granulocytes. Okay, why? Because they are easily identified. Okay, why are they easily identified? Because they have a kidney shaped. They look like a bean. So like this, mokaka beans, eh? Like a kidney shaped like this. So immediately you see something like this under a microscope, just know that it's a monocyte. Okay, they are very different from the rest. Okay, so they are basically larger set up about 12 to 20 micrometers, okay, with a kidney shape. So this one here is very important, okay? A kidney shape, which is also known as the horseshoe-shaped nucleus, okay? And then, okay, so you can have a monocyte here, but this nucleus here will always be kidney shaped. So what about the cytoplasm? Okay, so the cytoplasm is abundant and it's pale blue as well, and then it's non-granular, okay, meaning it has no what? Granules. Okay, and then the functions of these monocytes is just to differentiate into macrophages or dendritic cells, okay, to phagocytes, pathogens, and present antigens to lymphocytes. Okay, so on their own, the monocyte, they don't have a function, but they first have to mature. Okay, they mature into macrophages or dendritic cells, and then once they become those macrophages or dendritic cells, they can kill or they can phagocyte what? Pathogens. And they also present antigens to what? The lymphocytes. Okay, so those are the two functions of monocytes. Okay, and then let's look at question 3 here. Okay, so question 3 here, they're saying illustrate the developmental pathway of a helper T cell. Then they've put 5 marks there. Okay, so we simply have to describe how these helper T cells are what? Developed. Okay, so I've summarized the process. Okay, but if you want to read it as a whole, you are free to do that. Okay, so let's pass through these steps that I've illustrated here. Okay, so the first step there is the origination. Okay, so where do these helper T cells come from? Okay, so we know that helper T cells are derived from the hematopoietic stem cells. Okay, so these hematopoietic stem cells are found in the bone marrow. Okay, so that's where the helper T cells are originate from. Okay, then once we know the origination, okay, we can talk about the differentiation. Okay, so the differentiation is just when a cell is trying to become more of what it's supposed to be, so that it carries out the what? The function that it has. Okay. Okay, so on the differentiation part, so these immature T cells from the hematopoietic stem cells, okay, migrate to the thymus, okay, and in that thymus, they undergo 2 selections, okay. So the first one is what we call as the positive what? Selection. So in this positive selection, okay, the T cells, okay, are made to be able to recognize the self MHC molecules. Okay, they are made to be able to identify that. Okay, so what are these MCH molecules? Okay, what are these MCH molecules? Okay, so the MCH stands for major histocompatibility complex. Okay, all right, so this is just a group of genes that play a crucial role in the immune system, okay, particularly in recognizing and rejecting foreign substances that can come into the body, okay. So in this positive selection, these helper T cells, okay, will be made to always recognize the self MCH what? Molecules. And then in the negative selection, okay, this selection, it eliminates the T cells that are strongly, okay, bound to self-antigen to prevent autoimmunity. Okay, so autoimmunity is when your body starts fighting what? Itself. Okay, the body starts fighting itself. So to prevent that, some of these T cells that bind strongly to the self-antigens are what? Eliminated. Okay, so now after going through the positive selection, negative selection, we go to maturity now. So the surviving T cells that come from here, okay, are differentiated into the CD4 plus helper T cells, okay, in response to some signals that come from the cytokines. Okay, and then those CD4 plus helper T cells, okay, they move to the peripheral lymphoid organs, okay, to become activated when presented by the what? The antigens. Okay, all right. So when these are activated, then they can perform their functions. Okay, so activated helper T cells, they secrete what we call cytokines to stimulate other immune cells. Okay, so these T cells will just tell other immune cells to start working. Okay, so they will stimulate the cytokines to stimulate the immune cells, e.g., the B cells or the cytotoxic cells. They will tell them what to do, like, oh, listen, guys, we have a foreign substance in here, so start working. So that's what they do, these ones here. Okay, so this one here is the developmental pathway of the what? The helper T cells. All right, and then let's look at this table now. Okay, so they're saying which white blood cell would you suspect in the following conditions? Okay, so suspected condition and then which white blood cell. Okay, bacterial infection, and then here we have a parasitic worm infection, and then here we have a viral infection. So depending on the infection that you have, okay, the white blood cell that will be in charge of that is always different. Okay, so let's look at the answer here. So for the bacterial ones, okay, for the bacterial ones, the white blood cells that will be in charge are the neutrophils. Okay, so these neutrophils are the first responders to bacterial infections. Okay, so they will make sure they phagocyte that bacteria so that it dies and it doesn't affect the body. Okay, what about if you have parasitic, okay, or a parasite invades your body? Okay, which white blood cells, okay, controls that or fights that? Is the eosinophil. Okay, eosinophils will fight the parasites. And then for the viral or the virus function, it is the common what? Lymphocytes. Okay, so these lymphocytes play a key role in destroying virus what? Okay, so always know if you talk about bacteria, we're talking about the neutrophils. Parasites, eosinophils. Virus, lymphocytes. Okay, all right, so these questions will definitely come in your exam because they just like them. All right, and then the last one here, they're saying define the following terms. We have leukocytosis, I mean, okay, and then we have diapedesis, and then we have antigen presenting cell. Okay, so leukocytosis simply means an increase in the number of white blood cells in the blood. Okay, so why do the white blood cells increase? It's often due to the response to infections, inflammations, or stress. Okay, you have leukocytosis. Okay, and then diapedesis. Okay, what does this mean? This is just the process by which the white blood cells move out of the blood cells and then they go into the tissues, okay, by squeezing through the endothelial lining. Okay, so they will move out from the blood vessels and they go into the tissues by squeezing through the what? Endothelial lining. Okay, and then what is antigen presenting cell? Okay, so this is just a cell that processes and presents antigens to T cells, okay, to initiate immunity. Okay, so all these that I've given here are examples of antigen presenting one cell. Okay, so I think this was the last question on question number 3. Okay, so we are done. Thank you for attending this class. Next time we're doing question number 4 and question number 5. So we'll be done with this paper. Okay. All right. So have a blessed day, guys.